So thank you very much, Carol, for your introduction. It was very inspiring. Now I have the great pleasure to introduce you Séverine Pain. Séverine has over 20 years experience in 5 countries between Europe and Asia, with a focus on human resources and entrepreneurial projects. Please welcome Séverine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen. So I'm Séverine, and I'm very honored to be for the second year in a row, actually, with you for this NEXTGENT Award. So tonight we have the honor to host 6 pictures, 6 different guests, with different stories, with different backgrounds, with different dreams. And we have the chance to be able to listen to them on topics for which they think and they feel and they want to be bigger than just oneself. So during the different debates we're going to have with them, you will have the opportunity by scanning this QR code to raise questions for each of them. The way it's going to be implemented is each pair will have 15 minutes on stage, 5 minutes first with like a short pitch presentation by the pitcher. Then they will be accompanied by their mentor, okay, which is usually not exactly next-gen, but let's say a little bit more, but in their mind, as Carol was saying, totally next-gen-minded people also. So they will have 5 minutes together to discuss, to raise questions to each other. And then the last 5 minutes will be dedicated for you, audience, to raise questions to them. Okay, so each pair will have 15 minutes. Okay, so please do not hesitate to scan the QR code to raise your questions while they are talking. Okay. So the first we're going to welcome on stage are David Yenicelik and Doris Hangartner. So please, a big round of applause for both, and please come on stage. Okay, so just quick words about you, David. So you're a machine learning specialist. You have a very strong background actually in deep learning and optimization. Over the last 7 years, you've been working within a large variety of companies, setting in different industries, ideating, designing, prototyping, and deploying also successful machine learning solutions. So you are also the co-founder of a company called Skill Lab that we will discover with you a little bit later. And you're also the winner of Google AI Impact Challenge in 2019. So welcome, David, on stage. So for you, David, now we're going to start the first 5 minutes. So a few questions that I have for you. First, why did you choose computer science, and what does that mean for you?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, good question. I mean, I primarily chose computer science because I think it's a lot of fun. That's the primary reason. But another, like, there's a backstory to it. Like, if you have a hammer, everything you look at looks like a nail, right? So when I was 15 or 16, I really was thinking, what should I study? And this question turned into, what is the purpose in life, as it casually becomes, right? So I thought about it more and more. I had a couple of months to think about it. I read a lot of books. And then eventually I realized that there is no answer to that question, and that I should probably give an answer myself to that question. And it just sounded reasonable, like logical to me that we should probably work on something that benefits as many people as possible, also ourselves, possibly. And so I wanted to build an AI that is a teacher, like a personalized teacher for every child globally. And computer science looked like the most reasonable way to achieve that eventually. And I told myself, even if it would take 50 years, I'm just going to give it a try.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. It's not in everybody's, let's say, hands to do that. So thank you. Then, David, could you explain to us a little bit about Skill Lab and the mission, actually, of this company, and how you got the idea of creating this company?
Yeah, so Skill Lab. So Skill Lab is trying to find a job for everyone, a job that they like, and a job that fits their skills. So we believe that everyone has a proper skill set that they can turn into a productive part of society and economy. Like a very classical example is, for example, a mother. If a mother applies to a job, her skills are not listed on a CV, or the experience item is not listed on the CV. But why is that? Like, you learn management skills as a mother. You learn so many skills as a mother, right? And Skill Up really like breaks down the unit of experience into skills, and you can use that to apply to jobs. And Skill Up is mainly like serving government clients in like globally in like 20-something countries at this point. And like we're really trying to help people find jobs that they really like, and as the previous speaker also mentioned, like to find a flow state in what they want to do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And with Skill Lab, actually, what is the most satisfying result that you achieved until now?
I think there's many. Good question. So I actually thought about it, but I still don't know the answer. I think probably the most fun part was working with people that I like, and meeting people to work with, because that can also be quite challenging often. From like a pure like pride perspective, I think the Google AI Impact Award was very nice, like a very nice feeling, because it's not every day that like working on cutting edge technology really is beneficial to things other than just technology or research. And that was like a prime example to be recognized for that. And of course, like that the application is used globally now. Like it's being rolled out to millions of users right now. And just like seeing the journey that it went through from like pretty much like 1, 2 people, 3 people, to the way it is now, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So thank you, David. Doris, let me introduce you very shortly to everyone. So you're a gemologist. When we discussed actually together before this session, I understood that you were pretty much walking the talk. So it was very clear. So as a gemologist, you often say that in a gemstone you can read who we are, okay? So it's something important for you. You created your own jewelry company like 10 years ago, developing really your expertise in buying color stones, your favorite one being the Paraíba tourmaline, so as we can see tonight. And you strongly believe in technology to give higher accessibility to gemology to the world. So please, what questions would you have for David?
So I'm a very creative, intuitive, emotional person, and I love working with gemstones, and I believe in their gem personalities. So it's really about recognizing who you are with really reading a stone. And I thought, what do I ask such a brilliant scientist? So I'll ask an emotional question, and it is, what is your dream?
All right, so put simply, I think my dream would be to allow everyone to do what they want to do, you know, be it work, be it something else, and like really live in a world where people don't have to work, so to speak, like that everyone enjoys their work, everyone can do what they want to do. And I believe that this can be realized through technology, probably also because I just like technology. Yeah, I like new things.
I like old things. And the other question is AI in 5 years. I think it's a really, maybe a tough question, but what do you see on the horizon? What are the possibilities?
Yeah, so I have no idea. I don't think anyone does. like as a trajectory that I could possibly see is that, like initially AI models started with vision, like computer vision. Like these years, we're seeing very strong advances in text. Like it's another like category. Slowly, modules are able to parse both at the same time, and I think in the next 5 years, we're probably going to see a lot of robotics and like real assets transferring to that wave of innovation as well. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So my turn to ask.
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, questions back to you, Doris. So what do you think is missing in like new technological advances to bring them closer to humans? Because like it always takes a long time, right? And you mentioned the intuitive part. So what do you think is missing?
I think it's exactly that. If we look at the rise of Apple, it was that it's a lot more user-friendly, that it's more intuitively approachable. And I think there's a large threshold to really engage with AI or technology. So if it is somewhat made a little bit more intuitive and user-friendly, I think that will go a very long way.
Like, can you name some examples, for example, that, I mean, you work in the jewelry industry, that you see there that could, for example, pose such cases?
Yeah, you mentioned ChatGPT, and I think it's kind of similar in the jewelry industry where a lot of people or young people are now studying CAD design, but in 5 to 10 years, there will be a ChatGPT design that makes such incredibly beautiful pieces of jewelry. But it's the human element. We need to implement that. We need to create it. We have to bring it into the physical. So I think it's friend or foe, but we can really use it as a friend, but we need the human to embody it.
Thank you, which actually gives a nice transition to your, I would say, fight, if I may say so, before the question is that, so David is really like aiming at bigger than himself, and this topic is that really when technology and humanity work hand in hand. So I think we are ready for the questions, if ever they are from the audience. Alors, first question to you, David, actually. On which data do you train your AI model? I read questions, I don't even understand what it means.
Can I ask who asked that question?
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate maybe a little bit?
It's coming from a scientist.
So
you were saying that you fit basically your app or AI can identify skills. So I was wondering on which data set did you identify or isolated the skills so that you could then train the model?
yeah, so it's a very good question actually. So because it's not a simple answer. So with AI models, you have to start somewhere. You need data. Initially, we took a data set that was created by the European Union that was curated over the last 10 years because there was a big project that they had. This was our starting point, which was supposed to be a little bit more unbiased, but it's never going to be unbiased because humans create it, and there's no definition of bias, mathematical definition. So we started with that, and then what we did is we took more user data, similar to recommendation engine like Netflix would, for example, work. And we add a small, in that case, we added a small parameter that allows for unbiasedness, like some definition of mathematical unbiasedness. So basically, we started with ESCO data, with the European data set. And the more data we get from users, the more we can ingest those. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Question about NFT, and it will be for both of you, actually, but maybe to you first, Doris. What do you think about the GEM NFT, and does it have a real value for you?
I think for me, the real value is to reach a younger audience. I think gems are kind of I'll say an exclusive, even possibly asset class. and to make them a lot more accessible. So that's why I chose to create these NFTs on the pictures, and they're quite lovely pictures on the gemstones, so that it's a lot more accessible, because I believe gems are so beautiful and we should be able to enjoy them not just in jewelry but also in very different ideas.
And for you?
Yeah, maybe if I can just add to that point. I think NFTs are a great tool to build a community and to show willingness that people want to, that it's a value if you buy the NFT that you're part of the community. I think this particular NFT set is also an NFT set that shows that people are interested and then like-minded people can meet.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so it's still about like art and NFT. So we see now pieces of art sold with their digital twin. Do you expect this trend to sustain in time, or is it just temporary?
I think it will really stay. I think it will evolve. I think the whole development is from central to communal. It's kind of also my personal story on the transition from diamonds to prebas. I often describe it as the aggregate states of water, where diamond is more the frozen water and prebas are liquid water. And I think it's somewhat a loose comparison, but representative of the central bank, the very focused central sea structure, to prebas, which are more the fluid water. And every single preba is like an individual fingerprint. So I feel we're going into individuality. Therefore, I also feel the fractional ownership will become a much bigger subject.
Yeah, maybe I can also add a commentary. I think the fractional ownership is a very good point. And then as well, like we have to distinguish between the object itself and the certificate that you own the object. And I think digital twins are a good tool for that.
Okay, so when let's say individuality and then humanity meet together, okay, and technology. So, and last, if we still have time, so are you integrating the future of work trends in 15, 20 years so students can get guidance on what path to follow based on their personality? So it's more skill lab question.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Like initially, we started with government because that's a very valid use case and you have to build out the product. You cannot just give it to the consumer. But this is definitely one of the use cases I saw personally that I would be very excited about, because most, not people, but like students, they don't know what to do in life, and this would help them.
All right. So, thank you, David. Sorry, so I have to interrupt you. We thank you very much. So that was great.
Thank you.
So it was when technology and humanity work hand in hand. So thank you very much to both. And now we will welcome